Dov'è Gavis? Jemut live sorry. Keso tubi. Jemut taivri depan. Endo jagun Charles a lui vali miri. Endo jagun Costas. Un tairi vali Sirio trikilsa. Jemut kiven jui depan. Unei siti vili vilat. Un tairi valotti.
So, hello everyone. So this week, Lauren's just taking a break and she will be back next week. So I think, she's taking a mental health day, which I feel like is necessary during this time, especially with just everything going on. And I know Kirk has expressed how tired he is of all of this, and I definitely agree with him. So anyways, I'm joined by Brandy, of course, and we have Mrs. LK in the house.
Hey, so happy to be back.
Yes, it's always nice to socialize, as we've always said, doing these things, especially now. So yeah, we're just gonna, hang out for a bit and enjoy the socialization. So with that said, and going back to the coronavirus stuff, Kirk has been saying how frustrated he is, and it's a little understandable. How are you guys doing with COVID-19, and are you kind of on Kirk's side about it? Are you, I don't know. What's your take on it? We can go with Mrs. LK.
I'm not quite on Kirk's side. I'd say maybe somewhere in the middle. Like my husband and I were talking tonight. I was like, "Hey, what would you think if I was to go to that rally at the State House?" He was like, "You fucking kidding me?" And I mean, I totally get it. It was more just to see what his reaction was, but I'm not like that extreme about it. I did go to Taco Bell today for lunch because I was like, "Fuck this! I can't keep cooking," and you know. But it is scary to see that like the numbers aren't going down. And I don't know, like, maybe we just have to say, "You know what, let's just all get exposed to it and just deal with it." I don't know, I mean, that's the approach. I don't know, what do you think, Brandy?
I'm definitely on Kirk's side. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I am over it. And Maine is ridiculous because I feel like they've buckled down more recently, more than a lot of some of the states, and it's, 2 months into it. And we've actually hit a point now where I can't even go to the grocery store without wearing a mask. Like, they have big signs outside that they won't let you in, and I've put my foot down. I don't grocery shop anymore. I will not enter a store because I will not go try and find a mask. I will not put it on. We're 2 months into this already, and you've waited this long to put this into place. Like, no. I'm over it. I've been locked in my house for 2 months now, and you just wanna lock me down more, and I can't do it. I'm over it.
Are you afraid of getting the virus?
I'm sorry?
Are you afraid of getting the virus?
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I spent 2 weeks in New York City for work. I never wore a mask. I went out walking every night. I go out and about. I still see my family. Before the mask thing, I was still going grocery shopping. I was still doing everything. I part of me feels like I am probably one of those asymptomatic people because we've heard that there are more of those than not.
Mhm.
And I don't normally get sick on a regular basis anyway.
Yep.
And I know you made the comment, maybe we should all just get exposed to it. And I've said the same thing. In reality, I mean, I can't handle it anymore. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Well, I think going off of that and kind of what Kirk said is that, when you're out and about, especially if you're just exercising or whatever, you're not like up against somebody, you know what I mean? And I don't know if people are expecting you to lick the person near you or like,
Well,
stupid things like that.
I've had that same thought when I see these grocery stores and such, and they have the lines outside. It's like you're closer to that person in that line than you would be if you just let everybody in the store at once, because
Right.
people
Yeah.
are smart enough to avoid each other in the store versus standing in line where you don't have a choice if you need to get into that store. So
Right.
standing outside in line is doing nothing, in my opinion. Not a thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
refuse to shop at those stores.
Oh, I
I
do
mean,
too.
I'll wear the mask. That's a personal choice. I have no issue
Right.
with that. But it's
Right.
like, you know what? You're not going to control me. I feel like we're living in like a communist country where it's like you get your allotment of beef. You can't buy more than two packages of it.
Oh,
It's that I am over. I will admit for sure.
Yeah.
and on top of that too, it's the same thing how they were discussing, why can't they let X amount of people in a restaurant? And I mean, you're going to be sitting across from somebody. It's not, as I said, you're going to just like go up next to the person. And, I think people have more common sense about it than, the world thinks. And it's true. It's like when you're in a grocery store, you're like, there's still, I don't know, it's really frustrating. Like today, my friend and I did a socially distanced get together and we took a ride. And I'm in Rhode Island, so I'm really close to like, Narragansett and all of that. And we just wanted to like park and go near, the water and stuff like that. Not even on a beach, but just like a ledge. And every possible place that you could probably park was blocked off. So it's like even, there's just like a dirt path where you could park your car, none of that. And there was like nobody around. It's like, how am I going to catch something over here? You know what I mean? So it's
I
like,
think they just don't want to be liable. That's the only thing I
right,
can conclude.
that's true.
And I mean, going back to, you made the comment about common sense, and that's where I kind of have an issue too. It's like they put out these things that they know who is high risk, and they've got those risk categories. And this may sound selfish, but to me, it's like, if you fall into one of those categories. So shouldn't it be on that person or those people to social distance, keep themselves at home, and let the rest of us go about our normal lives?
Yeah,
Locking everybody down isn't doing anybody any good.
right. And like
I
you said,
mean,
the numbers aren't going down, like nothing's really changing. So it's
True.
clear that what's
right.
going on isn't making a difference. So, you know, let's try something else. Or like you said, go back to living our normal lives. It's just doing a lot to people mentally, emotionally, physically, as we've all talked about in the past. So it's just, and like you said, why are you waiting? Why are they waiting now to put all these plans into place when maybe they should have done this earlier? It just, none of it makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right, you guys
No.
have convinced me. I'm over it.
Yes. But
Peer pressure could succeed.
exactly. Well, at least I'm good at something. No, I'm just so anyway, I guess, we can talk about this all day long, but I mean, I guess we can just move on to more exciting things such as, the KMS world, um, never having a dull moment, and going back to the Cullen episode and all of that. I think, I know there were some mixed reviews, but overall it was a well-received episode. And then going back to, I know Brandy, you were in it, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. LK, were you? I don't remember. Were you in
I
it?
was
or-
not. Nope. I'm dying to hear from both of you what that experience was like.
Well, I think it was just odd because Steve messaged me, and then I was like, okay, like here's the line. And
What,
my
so
line,
wait, fill it in. What did the message say? It was just out of the blue, like, "Hey, can you
yeah, it
record
was
this
like,
line?"
hey, like, can you record an audio thing? Here's the line. And it was just, I think it was, I live in those, are you looking for anyone specific? And it's like, it was so out of context that I was literally struggling how to do it. Like, I knew, like, you put the exclamation point and then the question mark and all of that, but I was just like outside on my porch saying that line like 10 times. And it's still like, I know voice acting is not in my future or, anything like that, but I think it was just funny, um, having no idea what it was about and trying to do as well as I could with it. So I think it was just a hilarious thing to witness. What
Yeah.
about you, Brandy?
Oh, I completely agree. It was so out of the blue to get a message from him. And I think my message said something along the lines of he was doing putting together some secret something or
I don't
something along those lines, that it was secret. And I think part of his even told me that there couldn't be any noise and I should just do it in a closet. And I'm like,
oh,
okay,
oh, he was
so
he was just like, "Can you do me a favor? I need a female voice to do a voiceover. All you have to do is record it on your phone and or video and email it to me." So he didn't even like tell me it was secret. So
oh. Yeah, it was definitely um definitely told me to maybe do it in a closet.
oh, okay. So yours was more, I guess,
And
specific
oh,
to.
it was a lot.
Brandy, you were the reception, or what were you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Secretary?
I was the globe. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So you had you
Yeah.
had a good amount of lines.
Yeah, I had 2. He did tell me it was a secret project is how he put it in his message to me. And so it was awkward because there wasn't a lot of like,
contact.
how should I be saying it? And that sort of thing. So it was a little difficult, but it was fun. I was glad that he had asked, and it was fun. And it was nice to see it all come together when I finally saw what it was.
Right. And at first I was like, oh, well, my line must be so horrendous that I'm not even in it. But it was like all the way at the end too. And I enjoyed it because Justin's celebrity list, oh my gosh, I was dying. As soon as I heard him say Demi Lovato, I was typing something for school. And then I literally was like, what? And then I heard me and I was like, oh my God. But I think it was just fun to pick out like who was saying what. It was just like before the credits got posted. I think it was a really cool idea. I think Kirk, obviously, I'm kissing his ass again, but the creativity and the fact that nobody does things like that, whether you are not happy with the content or like the, I guess, subject of the episode, it still is something that should go recognized just because it's really creative and well written.
And I
But
love that his kids were involved. I love that
yeah,
Harry and Kate were
Yeah.
involved and that
And the
Steve's wife was
yeah,
involved, and
like, significant other. I like that
yeah,
too. I
that
did.
was great, and I
Yeah.
was surprised that it got even the negative feedback that it got because I enjoyed it. I feel like
right,
during this time, there's not a lot going on in the world for them to discuss. So to
exactly.
have those sort of episodes every once in a while to kind of break up the monotony, I think is great. I think it's something unexpected. I think it kind of puts us all on edge a little bit because we're not
Exactly.
expecting it. So it's kind of exciting when it starts. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. I really think, like you said, being on edge, I'm thinking, wow, this would make a really great movie or a 10 episode Netflix show.
How many
Uh,
times did you both watch it or listen to it?
I only listened a few times, and then going back, I didn't realize that Kirk's daughter Kate was in it,
Mhm.
and I was like, because she's not really involved in the world, so I was just curious, like, oh, she did this, and oh my gosh, Harry was the cutest thing. I'm just a Harry fan. Like
He is the most adorable thing. Oh my
He's very
goodness.
cute.
and I can imagine what that was like for Kirk trying to like tell him how to you know, how to do the line and all of that. And he even said it was a pain in the butt. But yeah, I think it was a really cool idea, and I hope to see stuff like that in the future. I mean, it's clear that although Kirk's Hollywood script writing, the screenplay writing didn't work out, I think now if he went back, he would definitely get hired.
Maybe.
Maybe. But yeah, speaking of, you know, the show and everything and the calls, Mrs. LK, you got on.
I
How was that?
did. Well, so there's been a lot of chat amongst the ladies that, hey, we need to start representing. Like we're just, you know, maybe it's once or twice a week a lady gets through and talks. And
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get through. And I was like, but what the fuck am I gonna say? Like, I don't, what do you say?
literally,
Yeah.
literally.
So it was like last week I was like, I'm gonna do a character. And I had this like whole thing. I mean, I was fucking researching throughout the weekend. I'm Googling shit
I love it.
and then
That it was awesome.
It really did work out well.
I couldn't listen to it. That's why I did not listen to most of yesterday's episode because I was, but also, so the other backstory, I think you ladies know this, but I'll share it for everybody else, was my delivery of Death Wish coffee arrived on like Saturday, I think it was, or no, it was Monday. This was all Tuesday. It's all blur. And so I don't drink coffee, but hey, I got to support a sponsor. So my husband made me some coffee for Tuesday morning, and I was so fucking hopped up on caffeine. I'm not, no joke. Like I was shitting my brains out. I kept running back and forth to the bathroom while I'm trying to call into the show, and I'm nervous as all hell. It was like, oh, this is just going to be a complete train wreck.
That's the worst.
It was
oh.
horrible. And then they call, you know, I think I was the first call because I don't know. I think it was you, Tara. Like, you start dialing. So I just kept I kept dialing, and then I got through, and Steve wouldn't play along. Okay, fine. It was like, it totally threw me off. But it was fun. I had so much fun doing it. My kids are totally creeped out by me doing this accent in the house. I kept practicing. But I think I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna forward you, Steve. I'm calling back. You better be ready for Svetlana.
And Brandy, cool. And Brandy, you've called in before, right? But you haven't recently, right? Yeah.
Not recently. I have not been able to catch when they're taking calls. My life is a complete hot mess right now. But I did call in. It is very nerve-wracking, and it was nice to hear Mrs. LK say that she couldn't listen to it, because I also cannot listen to it when I know that I've called in. I have to fast forward through it. I can't hear myself.
That's how I was too.
And you called in last week, Tara, right?
Yeah, I called. So it was on Sunday, which I feel that it was just easier for me to do that because it throws people off. So I called in. My fiance and I were watching The Godfather, and I was drinking wine. And then I saw my phone light up, and it had the number. So I looked over to him, and I was like, "Should I call?" And he's like, "Okay, we're watching a movie or whatever." But I did it anyway, and I got in, and he paused the movie, and I was like pacing back and forth. And he was like, "Just say you're watching The Godfather. Like, just talk about," because I don't know. I wasn't prepared. I didn't, research or anything. And, I got on or whatever. And I found that easier because when I called into the YouTube show that Kirk was doing with Harry, it was really hard to hear. Like, it wasn't as clear as you calling into the show. So I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to hear them and it would be delayed or something. So I was like, oh crap, this is going to sound terrible. But it was just like, it was cool listening to the people before me. And then I just kind of went off of that. So, I mean, I can't think of anything that I already know or haven't asked before. So it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? So maybe I need to come up with a character now, do some research.
You should do it.
I mean, I'm no actor.
I have some ideas that I can share with you.
Yeah, it probably is the easiest way when calling in at this point, because you're right, it is hard to, unless you're going to talk about something on like the previous day's show or something, it is difficult to think about, what do I ask? What do I say?
Right.
And then just voice on the phone in general just makes me shake. So
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting considering, how we've had interactions with Kirk before and Steve and Mike, but for some reason I'm still like, oh my God. You know what I mean? It's just a weird, I don't know. But yeah, continuing with all of that's going on in the show's content, I think it was yesterday, Kirk brought up the Minifan Mount Rushmore and had Steve from Providence, which of course I get, Kevin from Bristol, John Featherston, and who was the fourth one?
I was trying to think of that myself, and I came up with the same 3 as you. I'm like,
Was it Matt from
Oh,
Providence?
DC.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
And then I know Mrs. LK, or well, you mentioned him from Canton on Twitter, and I know they forgot about him. And then after that, I think Mike brought up, how about we have a lady up there, and I think he mentioned Lauren's name, and then Kirk was joking around saying, "Oh, we don't want any broads up there." So no, as I whatever. But I think there should be some lady representation. I mean, it's 2020. Although I agree with, those who are up there, I feel like we should have our own place, right?
But I think it goes hand in hand with, calling in and kind of representing and
I
just like
know.
being a bigger part of the universe.
Yeah,
Even just like how many shows have lady minifans on them? Like it's or are led by lady minifans. It's one, you know?
yeah, it's hard too because although I've been listening, prior to Kirk being on Barstool, I haven't done anything prior to that, or you know what I mean? And I think being on the outside of the world and not really knowing how to get in it. I mean, I was lucky enough to get in the way that I did, I guess, but I don't know how I would have if, you know what I mean? So it's just like now I think we're all making up for lost time and just doing what we can and not letting it be a competition, so to speak, but more of like we're all in this together kind of, and that's what it should be all about. I mean, I get people are going to bitch and moan about everything because what else
It took us a while to get there though.
and
I'm not sure everybody's still on board with that.
No. And that's what happens in fan bases. I mean, you're always going to have those people that are like, I was here first, and kind of feel possessive and territorial. But then there are other people, I'm sure, that are like, oh, well, isn't the point to grow the community? And that's all that matters. And I think it was funny. Maybe Kirk said this, but it's like, oh, well, they're just mad because they're not getting love from dad meeting him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I think it's really fun that, there's always something going on and there is that back and forth and it's all fun and games. And I mean, I think whatever.
Yeah, if there wasn't controversy, it'd be boring.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we gotta have entertainment somewhere.
Exactly. And even if it's just like fake enteartainment or, DJ Alistair Black, I mean, DJ came in. He brought it. Like he's been bringing it, and I have to say, like, I mean, I'm a fan in some aspects, and it's like I understand why people get all shaken up about him, but he definitely has brought some heat to the KMS world. And I was listening, I think it was today briefly, because I haven't listened to the whole episode, where Mr. Latino Kirk was doing Medium Poppy's Kitchen and went off on him.
Yeah.
Like, and you want to know what? I felt that. I was like, inside I'm like, he worked really hard. Like, you don't understand what that's like. I don't know. Did you listen? Did you both listen to that? And
how could I miss it? Come on.
What was that, Brandy?
I have not gotten to that part yet.
Oh.
So I haven't heard that. So I am excited for that though.
Yeah.
But no, Alistair Black is part of me feels he looks like just this little kid. Like it's almost like he's trying to like be friends with Harry or something, with the wrestler name. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
almost like he wants in with Kirk so he can like have a play date or something. Like he just reminds me of this little kid that you like see running the bases at a baseball game, and he's like, "Hey dad, look at me."
Well, next Harry WrestleMania episode, I'm sure they'll do a collab. I mean, that would be fun, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, it's
No, he's
very
definitely brought some entertainment though.
mm,
I get why people, kind of might dislike him, but I kind of enjoy him at the same time. It's hard.
I think that's the beauty too of Kirk's YouTube channel. It's like there
yeah,
is something for everyone. You don't have to like everything. You
Exactly.
don't have to like anything. Don't watch it at all. Whatever. I like that.
yeah,
I do
I don't
too.
know. I mean, DJK certainly brought in a new energy, a new take on things. Um, I don't want to say too much more. I mean, I support everything that my husband said, but
of course,
I don't want to get involved in the drama.
right. And
Right.
I mean, I was just saying, like, I totally agree with, you know, Mr. LK's take on it as well. And also going back to the YouTube channel and in general, I know that, there are some people that are like, oh, well, this sucks and that sucks and whatever. But I really think whether or not it's good or bad, it's still an opportunity for people to create content. And I don't think anybody else in this, I guess, field or universe would allow that from,
Yeah.
his or her fans. So I really think that, being able to try things out and find ways to promote the show is honestly a great, great thing. I mean, especially now. And if two people watch it or 200 or 2000, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Just
And if you
people,
don't like what's out there, go create your own fucking show.
right,
You know?
exactly. Or just
And
like,
that's
I'll
what's
watch
like
anything.
about Kirk.
Yeah.
He says that same thing. He's like, "Don't watch it. If you don't like
Yeah.
it, don't watch it. If you don't like me, don't listen." And,
Right.
he makes a good point when he tells those people that, criticize the show. It's like, well, I don't see you doing it. We're
Right.
putting ourselves out there. We're the ones that could possibly be making fools of ourselves, but you're not
Yeah.
doing anything. So unless you're going to step up to the same plate that we're on, you probably don't have room to criticize.
Right. And on top of that, and I've seen a few replies to me here and there, just in general about the whole clout chasing thing. Like, I'll be honest, yeah, it's nice to get attention here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't say that, like, if tomorrow I was kicked off the YouTube channel or if, the YouTube channel got taken down, I wouldn't like cry over it because one, this isn't like my job or, something that I do anyway or depend on it. It is what it is. But I think at the end of the day, the whole clout chasing thing, again, another thing to stir the pot, which is fine, whatever. Like, I'll admit to it. It's fun to be able to put yourself out there sometimes. It's not easy. And I just think that given the opportunity, of course I'll take it. I mean, why not, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
Exactly. And I mean, if you don't take opportunity, whether it's, on this show or with anything else, if you don't reach for the opportunity or take the opportunity when it's in front of you, how do
yeah,
you further yourself in life to begin with, in general, within anything? So, I mean, you
exactly.
always have to take an opportunity, whether it's clout chasing or anything else.
Right. And I think with that too, I mean, I've never been an overly confident person and maybe more introverted, but this has allowed me to become better at that and better at putting myself out there, being able to, make new, social contacts or just being able to do something and feel good about whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it's good or bad or if it fails or who really knows. It's still an opportunity to, I think, grow personally.
Yeah.
So,
And I think the other aspect of that too, there was a lot of people in this world hide behind parody accounts. Hey, here.
right,
But it gives people confidence to do things or say things that they
right.
never would normally say.
Exactly. And
And yeah,
you're not doing anything to hurt somebody. Whereas,
no,
there are people that are hiding behind their computers, saying things, but in your sense, you're doing it more of like, wow, my self-esteem is going up. I'm able to do you think like 2 years ago you'd be able to like call in a
oh
podcast?
hell no, hell no. And there's this like secret sort of like naughty side of me that's like, my coworkers have no idea that I did that. Mwahaha, you know? And there's
Yeah.
something
I
about
do
that.
the
That
same thing. I almost
yeah,
feel like I'm living a second life sometimes, and it's just fun.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of you both. I mean, I know that branding your name is out there, but as far as for the most part, you're still, I'm sure your coworkers and all of some people in your life don't know exactly what you do on Twitter and just kind of that world.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, a lot of people that I work with don't have Twitter. They're more into like Facebook and things. And
Yeah.
I don't do Facebook. I have Twitter, and it was created just when I started listening to Kirk. And they sure as hell don't know I do a YouTube show every Wednesday night because
Yeah.
none of them would probably believe it anyway. But
Right.
I mean, and it's funny because like I look at a lot of the females in the world, like the two of you, when you have significant others, and I always sit down sometimes and I'm like, if I started dating, like, how do I explain this to somebody? Like, how do
It's
I
true.
bring them into this and be like, okay, so
And it's like,
like,
hey.
I'm
by the
sure we could
way,
find a minifan out here. We can put a call out right now. Brandy, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
I know, older, taller.
Tattoos, long walks on the beach, like
Exactly.
dogs.
Like dog's beard, no beard.
I like facial hair.
Same.
We'll go former Marine and we'll see who hits me up.
Okay.
I can already think of like 5 people, probably. So, okay, I'm writing all of this down. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, definitely we still need the Minifan Bachelorette, so that I'm sure that will be a
I
YouTube.
am game. Somebody wants to set it up. Anybody likes planning? I am all for it. Ready to go. After the 5K though. I might be in a little bit better shape then.
All right, so bachelors, submit your DMs.
There'll be a
Tara and I will
Google Doc
organize it.
somewhere. There'll be a
Yeah.
Google Doc somewhere, I'm sure. And
Oh, I'm sure.
And Brandy, speaking of the 5K, I got my shirt, and my fiance and I are ready to go. We're not running, but we're walking. How about you guys? Are you training? Are you in? What are your plans for that day?
I have my shirt. I have my run, jog, walk, whatever my body allows me that day, all mapped out. I am going to try and run it. I try to go out and train. I was using the treadmill, but I've decided to remodel my entire living room, so it's a hot mess.
That's fun.
My my treadmill's in my kitchen, and I'm not getting outside like I should be. But I am training. It's all mapped out. I'm definitely excited for it. Really hoping it doesn't rain, but we'll see what the day brings. It should
Exactly.
be fun. I'm looking forward to the live broadcast too. I'm kind of excited to see what they have planned for
Yeah.
us.
I think just in general, the app and everything that they're putting into it seems pretty interesting. What about you, Mrs.
And I
Okay?
liked hearing
Oh,
that they were
sorry.
gonna take no, that's okay. I liked hearing that they were going to take calls that day too, because I think it'll be nice to hear from the people who are out doing the 5K too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be doing it. We had talked about potentially going up to where Kirk will be, but
Yeah.
I think we'll both be walking, so we'll probably be just better off doing it near the house somewhere.
Yeah. I was thinking of going up there
Now,
too.
are your kids gonna do it with you? Will
Sorry?
your kids be doing it with you as well? Your kids.
Probably not. So there's some logistics we need to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on a
I just
Saturday,
noticed that
right?
some of the
Yeah.
Minifan
Yeah.
is it a Saturday? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Saturday.
Yeah. So I just noticed some of the Minifans had put out there on Twitter that, they had their kids involved. And so I was just kind of curious, how many Minifans had their kids, how they convinced their kids to actually go do this.
Oh yeah, I mean, our son is 4. Just to get him to walk around the block is a struggle.
Yeah.
And so then we can put him in the stroller, but he's too big for the stroller. It's just so we're gonna have to, get over the coronavirus and just find somebody to watch him.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, like I said, before, just the creativity of the show and everything. Like, this is an awesome idea, a way to get everyone out and doing things. I don't really see many virtual 5Ks or virtual anything going on right now. So I think it's a really cool opportunity to do things for the show, get some sponsors in, and along those lines like that. So, yeah, so I guess we're coming up on our time. However, if there's is there anything that either of you ladies want to bring up? Anything in particular that has struck you over the past few days in terms of show content?
No, I think we pretty much touched on everything. I'm just
Okay.
excited, to see what else comes out this week and
Yeah,
continue preparing for the 5K. And
Yeah,
cool.
same here. I did like the Mamma Mia stuff today. I saw some controversy over that on Twitter.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if you ladies heard it yet.
I have not.
I loved it. It was the stupidest thing, but they just dragged it out for like an hour, and I just found so much humor in that. So
sometimes those are the best parts
Yeah.
of the show, though. And I do have to admit, with the whole Mamma Mia thing that started, I think it was a week or so ago, I find myself using the word decent a lot more.
same here for
Really?
sure.
Like all the time. And of course, I laugh about it, and everybody's like, "Why is that so funny?" And I'm like, "Never mind."
I feel like that way, except since we're watching The Sopranos, I feel like we're both talking like hardcore Italians and like talking like this. And I mean, I'm already Italian and I talk, with my hands and I'm really loud, but I think more so because of this. Like, I think on Saturday, yeah, it was Saturday, I ordered an Italian grinder just because it was like mentioned in the show. And I was like, I'm in the mood for this, and I just start
Sounds like you've
talking.
got a character in the making there, Tara. I
I
think we need to go with
know.
that.
I know. I have to think of a character from the show, especially since we've been watching it consistently. I thank you for giving me an idea, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to do some research myself.
I look
But
forward to your next call in.
Same here.
let's hope I have a few glasses of wine first, because it's going to be a
Either
shit.
that or a shit ton of coffee. That's
Yeah.
that's all I can tell you.
Hey, I mean, I ordered some more Death Wish cake cups. I got the Odin cups or something. I've been getting the regular ones, but yeah, they're really good. So just quick shout out to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that wraps it up. And I will thank you, Mrs. LK, for joining us this
Yes.
week.
Thanks for
And
having me.
of course,
Always fun.
and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Next
Okay.
week.
All right.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye.
ladies. Bye.